Let's talk about the very important and very good Tier A passport, currently ranked as 8 when it comes to freedom of travel, that you can get in a year. Hi everyone, I'm Irena from Nomad Capitalist, where we help people to go where they're treated best. Let's talk about Malta. Malta is the only country in the EU that offers you a path to get their citizenship through investment in a year or 3 years, depending on the route. Good thing about Malta citizenship is, apart from being a Tier A passport, and we will go into some of the benefits a bit later, there is no physical presence requirement and there is no language requirement test for getting to Malta citizenship. Officially, this program is a citizenship investment program. However, you would actually get a certificate of naturalization. So this is something as a combination between citizenship investment and citizenship by naturalization. And if we're looking at, as it is, citizenship by naturalization, it's a fast-track naturalization process, again, that you can get in a year or 3-year period. Maltese passport is definitely a Tier A passport. So you get, apart from the visa-free travel, that we'll talk about a bit later, it's a part of the EU. When you get the Maltese passport, you don't have to live in Malta. You can live anywhere in the EU, and you can work anywhere in the EU. That's a very valuable asset, and again, this is the only EU country that offers this kind of program. If you are a US citizen who is looking to renounce, this is one of the best possible passports that you can get, and the reason for that is that Malta has a visa-free travel to the US. So all of you know that when you renounce, there is a minimum possibility chance to go back to the US, but if you have a passport that has a visa-free travel, then you're all good to go. Similar to what I mentioned, one of the benefits of getting a Maltese passport is, again, the part of the EU. So once again, you can go and you can live anywhere in the EU and you can travel freely within the Schengen area and the EU. Another part is, again, visa-free travel. So with the Maltese passport, you can travel to 180 plus destinations without a need for a visa. This would include Australia, US, Canada, UK, Ireland, and others. The third one is the taxation system, and we'll discuss that a bit later on because I don't want to overwhelm you now with all the information. The fourth one is the education for children. With the Maltese passport, you do not only have the right to educate your children within Malta, but you can do it anywhere in the EU. This does not only include elementary school and high school, the same stands for the universities as well. So if you want to enroll your children in the university, you can easily do that by even any EU country around the world. And it's quite easier than, for example, doing that if you're a US citizen or a Canadian one. The fifth one is doing business and working inside of the EU. With the Maltese passport, you do not only have rights to work or doing business inside of Malta, but you can do that anywhere in the EU. Of course, there are some taxation things that you would have to research and make sure that you're being compliant with, but this is not something that would be a deal breaker. Of course, having the Maltese passport, you can come at Malta at any time and you can leave Malta anytime. We all saw how important that is during the COVID time, when the borders are closed and when you got locked in one country. Malta, of course, as similar to mostly every other country in the world, but if you're a citizen of that country, you have the right to enter and to exit at any time. Malta also has a very good healthcare system. With Maltese passport, you would have access to the healthcare system. However, one of the requirements to actually get the Maltese citizenship is to actually get the global coverage when it comes to the healthcare. There are a lot of agencies and companies worldwide that can help you get this, but this is unfortunately one of the requirements. Of course, later on you get access to the healthcare system, but at least until you apply for citizenship, you do need to have this. Malta is one of the safest countries to raise your family, and apart from that, Malta is currently ranked the second country in the world as the safest country for women. And finally, we will discuss this a bit later as well, but one of the benefits is the possibility to get citizenship for your family members as well, and not only you. Now that we talked about some of the benefits on why you should have it and why it is good to have the Maltese passport, let's talk about what are some of the steps that you need to take in order to make that happen. One of the most important things for you to know is that there are 2 paths that you can choose on how to get Maltese citizenship. The paths are different when it comes to the investment amount and when it comes to the timeline. If you choose the 1-year route, then you need to make 3 investments. The first investment would be the direct investment. So with the direct investment, you need to pay 700,000 euros for only yourself if you're a single applicant. The good thing is this is only paid after the approval, so you don't need to pay that in advance. The second investment path is to pay the charity donation of 10,000 euros, which is paid immediately. And the third one is the real estate investment. You need to either purchase a real estate worth of 700,000 euros and hold it for a period of minimum of 5 years, or you can rent a property for at least 5 years and pay the annual rent of at least 16,000 euros. If you decide to go down the 3 years path, then the two investments remain the same. The first one would be the charity donation of 10,000 euros. The second one would be real estate. So either purchase a real estate worth of 700,000 euros or rent a property for at least 5 years with a minimum annual rent of 16,000 euros. The only thing that changes, apart from the timeline, of course, is the direct donation. For 3 years route, you need to pay 600,000 euros for a single applicant. Now, if you want to add your family to your application, for a spouse, you would need to add 50,000 euros to the direct investment. If you want to add your children to it, you will need to pay again 50,000 euros. And if you want to add your parents or grandparents, if they're again considered eligible, you would also need to pay additional 500,000 euros to the direct investment. Children and parents or grandparents are usually deemed eligible to be your dependents in case that they are financially dependent on you. Now, they won't take your word on it. You actually need to prove that they're financially dependent on you. So you need to prove that you're sending them some amount of money on a monthly basis, that you're paying their rent, that you're paying their bills, and so on. This would be considered as a proof that they can be added to your application. Maltese law are more concentrated on the things that would make you not eligible for Maltese citizenship rather than the things that would make you eligible. But some of the most important factors is you're older than 18 years old. Maltese government does not accept main applicants that are minors. So you would need to be at least 18 years old. The second factor is you need to have a criminal record. They won't allow you to apply for a Maltese citizenship in case that you have something in your criminal records. Remember, this is the EU, so the regulations, the due diligence and everything is much more harder than with every other citizenship. So this is something that you really need to take care of. And the third one is slightly connected to the healthcare that I mentioned earlier. Maltese applicants need to be considered in a good health. So again, Malta, of course, wants to make sure that you have your global coverage and you're not using the Maltese healthcare system for at least the moment when you have a residency until you get the citizenship. Of course, you would have access to the Maltese healthcare system, but again, one of the requirements is to also have a global coverage. Some of the factors that would make you non-eligible is, again, to have a criminal record, to be a subject to some kind of criminal investigation, or for your company to be a part of some lawsuits, or for you personally to be a part of some lawsuits. And apart from some other things, which would be, for example, if Malta would consider you to be a threat to their country, one of the important things is that you cannot get Maltese citizenship if you have ever been rejected a visa to a country where Malta has a visa-free travel access to. So this is one of the most important things. If you, for example, renounce your US citizenship, you try to apply for a tourist visa to the US and you got rejected, you cannot apply for Maltese citizenship. One of the things that you can do is to reapply for a tourist visa. In case that you get approved for the US visa, you can apply for Maltese citizenship and you can actually get it. Application process for Maltese citizenship is a bit more complicated than other CBI processes. The reason why is because, again, this is considered as a fast-track naturalization and not direct citizenship by investment. Applying for Maltese citizenship goes through 3 different stages. First thing that actually you need to do when you want to get the Maltese citizenship is to apply for residency. In order for you to do that, you need to gather some of the basic documents, such as the birth certificate, fill out some of the forms, perhaps give the power of attorney to a lawyer in Malta to prepare some of the basic documents and to schedule the appointment for you, and get the healthcare coverage, pay the charitable donation of 10,000 euros, and find the property, whether for purchase or for rent. These 2 investments you need to get before you apply for residency. You will need a proof, for example, a title deed or a rental agreement, that you actually did that, and of course, the proof of payment of a charity donation of 10,000 euros. When you get this, then you can go to the police station in Malta together with your lawyer and apply for residency. Residency card is usually issued a week or 2 maximum after submission takes place. When you have that, you're entering the second stage. The second stage is the eligibility stage. This is one of the most extensive parts of applying for Maltese citizenship. This can take either a year or 3 years. It depends on the route that you chose, actually. If you chose one year route, you have less than 12 months to collect all of the documents and to submit your eligibility documents. The sooner you submit everything, the sooner you will get approval. Of course, that will not happen sooner than a year period, but if you submit your documents, for example, at the 11th month of your residency, your approval won't come next month. It will take time until they conduct the due diligence and issue the approval letter. During this stage, there are a lot of documents that you need to collect. And again, apart from some of the basic ones like birth certificate, marriage certificate, and others, one of the most important documents are source of wealth documents. This is the most difficult stage, and of course, this is the stage to get rejected in case that you're not eligible. But during this stage, the Maltese government conducts 2 or 3 stages of due diligence to make sure that you are eligible and that you can actually get your Maltese passport. After the 12th month, considering that you submitted the eligibility documents on time, you would get the approval. That is where you're entering the citizenship stage. When you get the approval, you're entering the final stage, which is the citizenship stage. Before you go to Malta to take the oath of allegiance, to pick up your citizenship certificate, and to apply for a passport, there is only one thing that you need to do, and that is to make the direct investment. This would be either 750,000 euros if you chose the 1-year route, or 600,000 euros in case that you chose 3 years route. When that is done, you can collect your proof of payment and you can show it to the government institution, and you will get your citizenship and you will get your passport after that time. Just don't forget that in case that you purchased a real estate, you cannot sell that real estate in the next period of 5 years, because otherwise your citizenship will be cancelled. Good thing about Malta is that if you are a resident or a citizen that is not domiciled in Malta, Malta then in that case has kind of a territorial taxation system, which means that you would be taxed only for the income that is made in Malta and that is remitted to Malta, but for the income outside of Malta, you won't pay any taxes on it. If you are, however, a citizen of Malta that lives in Malta, then of course you're subject to the worldwide taxation. Income taxable can be either from 0% to 35%. It all depends. So of course you need help for this. One of the good things about Malta is, again, the corporate tax as well. If you incorporate the company in Malta, then you would pay a tax of 35%. However, 30% is refundable, meaning that at the end, you would only have 5% taxes to be paid. Malta, on the other hand, has a very good tax residency program, which would basically mean that you pay a flat tax rate of 15,000 euros in case that you have real estate in Malta, which, again, you can use the one that you used for citizenship in the first place. All in all, even if it is one of the most expensive citizenship investment programs out there, you should really think about all the benefits that you can get. And at the end of the day, is there a price tag to go where they're treated best?